This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball EXCEL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1978-81 Game of the Week. Today we got a game between the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. And this is the golden era of the Phillies, winners of the '80 World Series, and they would win the West, the North, I should say, the East. What's that called again? Yeah, the National League East, that's right. In '78. 80 and 81. Pirates won it in 79. The two Pennsylvania teams won the championships in 79 and 80. And the Mets, well, it's not the best era. They've shaken it up a little bit by shuffling, making some transactions and so forth. They acquired Pete Rose in the Tom Seaver move a couple years ago. As that compensation for Seaver going to the Reds. That was a fun little trade. So having having Rose and Shea has been great. He's actually played pretty darn well for the Mets as well. And in this offseason, they went out and got Doc Ellis. So they have a really fun bunch of Mets. Let's see what's happened. The series opened up in New York. Game 1, it was Steve Carlton against Craig Swan. And folks, these Mets can really crush left-handed pitchers. And they did a number on lefty today. This is the great 1980 Steve Carlton card. And they roughed him up. 7 innings for Carlton, 13 hits and 5 runs. And Craig Swan did enough to stick around for 8 innings, giving up 8 hits and just a run. It's a relatively easy 6-1 win for your underdog Mets. 6-1 win for the Mets in Game 1 in Shea. Then in Game number 2, it's a battle of righty-lefty again, but now it's Christensen, the righty for the Phillies, against Fred Norman. Again, you see the Mets really importing guys to improve their team, because the team that the actual Mets during this era are pretty lifeless. So Christensen versus Fred Norman in this one. Big McRae leads off in the top of the first with a home run. Bottom of the first inning, though, a hit, a walk, a 2-out error by Mike Schmidt, and then a couple of RBI singles after that, and a pass ball by normally reliable Bob Boone. And suddenly the Mets have 4 runs on the board. An RBI ground out in the second inning. Fred Norman flirts with disaster a bit in the 4th and 5th, but gets out of it. It's a 5-3 damage. And in this particular game, the story is the Met bullpen, the much maligned Met bullpen, one of the worst ones. Jeff Reardon is their closer, he's good. But Pete Falcone, Pat Zachary, and Tom House, not so much. But they all did the job there. Zachary got out of the 7th inning, saving Norman. And then Falcone bailed out Zachary in the 8th, and then Reardon came on and bailed out Falcone in the 9th. So 5-3 win for the Mets, up 2-0. Holding serve at Shea, the proud Met franchise, wins both games. And now we go to the City of Brotherly Love for Game 3, and a must-win game for the Phillies. Let's look at the standings. Must win for this series. Overall, they're still clinging on to first place, but it's not been the prettiest season for the Phils to this point. Here you go. They're just 11-9 now, and they've opened the door for the whole division to come in. Marlins and Braves at 500, and the Mets are 3 under 500. So even the Mets, a sweep here for the Mets, and they're a game and a half out of first. What is going on in this era here? So it's because the Phillies have been kind of falling asleep at the wheels, what it looks like. They're just not been played very interesting baseball. Their lineup is absolutely loaded, and they got a very good pitching staff. Not a great one, but a very good pitching staff. Let's get started from the Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Leading off, it will be Steve Henderson for the Mets. 38 is a walk. Batting second, Lee Mazzilli. 55 off of the... I didn't give you the pitchers. The pitchers are a couple of Toms. Tom Hausman for the Mets, who was 2-6, the 2.73 ERA in 79 innings. And Tom Underwood for the Phils, overstaying his tenure. He would be a Blue Jay in 79 with a 9-16 record and 369 ERA in 227 innings, but he's going to stick around in Philadelphia for one more year. Tom Hausman, Tom Underwood. So Underwood's got a challenge today. Carlton got roughed up in game one, and this lefty Underwood is on the same path. Lee Mazzilli, 55, second X. This is Will Fong, who is a 2E20 second baseman. And that's a single. 2 on for Ray Knight. 1-7. Let's take a look at the Ray Knight card. This is a 79 Ray Knight card of the Cincinnati Reds, but the Mets demanded him in that Tom Seaver trade, and you can see why. This Ray Knight card really helped those 79 Reds win that division. But in a history do-over, the Mets demanded him. If you're going to get Tom Seaver, you got to pay up more, and the Cincinnati Reds certainly did pay up more. 1-7 is double 1 at 10. It's a single dot dot, and the Mets have something going in the first with runners in the corners and nobody out. And it's Hubie babbling Brooks. 67 off the Underwood card is double 1 at 6. Single dot dot, and the Mets keep it rolling. Runners on the corners. The Phils fans are still in the parking lot parking their car, hearing about this on the radio. This is unsettling. It's Joel Youngblood. 47 is a strikeout. John Stearns, 5-12. First C. That'll score a run, though. And runner at second and 2 outs. It's Pete Rose. Batting 7th against lefties. It's all right. They're that good against lefties. He bats 3rd against righties. All right. Bottom of the first. It's Lonnie Smith. 2-4, rounds the short. Greg Gross, 39 is a walk. Lazinski, 1-5 is a walk. 2 on, 1 out from Mike Schmidt. 5-11 off Hausman is second X. Today's second baseman is a very old Don Kessinger, who is still, even at second base, he's rangy enough. He's a 3E26 at second base. The 40-year-old Kessinger. That's going to be a single, though. Bases are loaded with 1 out in a 3-0 game for the bake sale. Bake McBride. 47 off of Hausman is single 1 to 11, and it is an 11. It is a single. The Phils are on the board, and it continues. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3-1 game. It's Dan Meyer. 37, Dan Meyer. Double 1, single dot dot. And we're tied at 3, folks. Oh boy. This is going to be a wild one. Runners on the corners with 1 out. Bob Boone. Meyer has to be held. He's a B stealer, so they may as well bring the infield up and hold it to prevent a run from scoring. Bob Boone, 6-10 off Hausman, is third X. This is, again, Ray Knight, a 2E17 third baseman, but it is a single dot off the 2 third baseman. Oh, big blunder there. And now it's 4-3 Phils with 2 on and 1 out for Rob Wilfong. 3-6 single on a 1, line out on a 4. And with 2 outs, they bat around to Larry Boa. 1-5, let's take a look at Larry Boa's card of 1978. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he did lead the Phillies in hitting. 78, they didn't have a 300 hitter. He hit 294 with just 24 walks and 654 at-bats, which is why he's not really the best on-base machine. But it's Larry Boa, 1E10 shortstop. 1-5, homer 1-2, double. It will be the double, and the merry-go-round. Meyer scores. Boone will not try and score from first on the double. It is 5-3. Second and third, 2 outs, and it's Lonnie Smith again. We just moved the result over here. 110 grounds to short. Well, you came late, folks. You missed a lot. It's 5-3. Phils, as we go to the second inning. Larry Herndon, 2-8. Double 1 of 12 is a double. Oh, I hope these bullpens have got the lights working out there and had the dirt all raked up and then the Gatorade ready, because, man, it's going to be emptying the bullpen day here at the vet. Herndon at second for Don Kessinger. 69 off Underwood is a walk, and we are getting close to breaking performances. So in the early innings for a breaking point of weakness performance, I usually make it 10 hits through 3 or 8 hits and 4 walks through 3 to do it. And you see we're already up to 6 batters for Underwood, and we're up to 7 in 1 inning for Hausman. It'll be in the top of the lineup against lefties, Steve Henderson. 47 is a K. Lee Mazzilli. 1-4, Sky's the center. And with 2 outs, it's Ray Knight. Saw the card earlier. 2-6 is single dot. That loads the bases with 2 outs for Hubie Babylon Brooks. 69 is that walk. I've done it a few times. Off the Underwood card, that's your bases loaded walk. We got a 5-4 game. And it's Joel Youngblood, your 1981 batting champion in the National League. The pitch to Joel. 3-6. Let's take a look at the card, folks. So yeah, it was the year of the strike, and everything went perfectly for Joel Youngblood. He got out of Dodge with a .350 batting average and 143 at-bats. Could he have done it for 500 or 600 at-bats? Who knows? But give the guy the batting title, .350 for your rangy -3 arm right fielder. 3-6 is single dot dot, and yes, the Mets have just reclaimed the lead on a 2-run single. Runners in the corners with 2 outs for John Stearns. 1-6 is ball 4, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs, as Underwood has put 10 men on, but only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 2 more hits or 2 more walks, and this dude's toast. We'll take him out. Let's take a look at Pete Rose's card of 1978. So, after this card expires, the Mets, through a transaction, will send him across the field into the Phillies dugout for his 79 campaign. And the Mets are going to demand some compensation for that, something that they actually didn't get during this era, as this was the era of free agency where teams didn't get compensated. But the Mets shrewdly asked for something for Seaver, and they got it in Rose. It's a .302 hitter, 7 homers, 51 doubles for Pete. 51 doubles for Pete Rose in 1978. Here's the pitch. 47 off Underwood is a K, and Underwood wiggles out of that mess, but it's 6-5 Mets. Gray Gross, bottom of the second. 49, second X off Hausman. This is Kessinger, a .326. That's going to be an error. Oh boy. Greg Luzinski, 34, Sky's the center. Mike Schmidt, 6'10", third X. Again, this is Ray Knight. 2E17. They'll take the ground ball B off his 2 range, avoiding the double play there. Schmidt's a B stealer. He won't attempt to steal. It'll be McBride. 411, right X. This is Youngblood, a 2E, but he's an E14 in right field. It's a single dot dot. So that puts Schmidt to third with 2 outs and 2 on. Nothing earned this inning. And it's Dan Meyer. 46 off of Hausman. It's double 1-4 fly ball the rest, and he gets the fly ball the rest. Big break there for Hausman in the Mets. 6-5. We go to the third. 3 hits or walks in this inning. We'll call Underwood toast and have him try and nurse him through the 4th inning as to not tax our 4-man bullpens. So this could be a double-digit affair by the time we're all done. It's Larry Herndon, unless these guys suddenly settle down here. Larry Herndon, 1-5, 111, base hit. It's Kessinger. Do you keep swinging the bat with the barrage of hits we've been doing, or try switching up with a hit and run? Let's do a hit and run. Do something different this time. A hit and run moves the runner up. All right. Kessinger wasn't much of a hitter anyway. So you got a runner at second for Henderson. 411 is left X. Now this is Greg Gross, a 3 E8 in left field. A 3 E8, and that's a 2-base error, and that will score a run. It is 7-5. Henderson's at second for Lee Mazzilli. 311 flies to right. And with 2 outs, it's Ray Knight, who's got a couple singles today. 310, make it 3. 3 singles. It's a single dot, an RBI single, and it is 8-5 Mets. And now we have Underwood up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits, and 1, 2, 3, 4 walks. This man is broken. We're going to try and nurse him through the 4th inning, broken at the point of weakness, just to save the bullpen. But this could get ugly, folks. Speaking of getting ugly, it's Hubie Brooks. Let's take a look at the Hubie Brooks card of 1981 against lefties. Oh boy. Hubie at 307 in what would be considered a full season in 81, 358 at-bats. More than twice the amount of bats Joe Youngblood had. Could play third and short. He's playing shortstop today, so they can get Ray Knight at third. The pitch to Hubie Brooks. 110, he missed the card and rolls the ground to short. So Underwood stays alive, but he's broken. It's 8-5. Bottom of the 3rd inning, it's Bob Boone. Houser needs a 3 up and 3 down inning here, but just avoiding the hits and settle down. 2-4, Boone grounds to short. Wilfong, 47, single 1 to 11. Doesn't get it, rolls the 18. Larry Boa, 58, pops to short. All right, 4th inning, final inning for Underwood. Save your bullpen. Joel Youngblood, 58, short X. This is Boa, a 1E10 at short. Makes the play. John Stearns, 37, is a walk. Pete Rose, 56, hits the point of weakness single off of the Underwood card. Runners on the corners for Larry Herndon. 48's a pop to first, and with 2 outs, Don Kessinger, 312. Let's take a look at the Don Kessinger card. This is another one of these guys that, you know, like, he's willing to retire for the Cubs. He's all done, you know. Player manager for the White Sox as well in Chicago. But the Mets got on the phone and said, hey, Don, we really could use a middle infielder reserve. Any chance you could come out of retirement and play for us? Come to the Big Apple. And Don signed up for a year at Shea. Nice little card here. Switch hitter. 3 in the middle of the field positions. Of course, he's a good bunter and good hit and run guy. But 312 is a double to right field. That'll score 1. Oh, you know Rose is going to come home. Geez, 15, 16, 17. Oh, he is wide turn. Look out at home plate. Pete Rose barrels in and he scores on the 2-out, 2-run double by Don Kessinger, folks. It is getting ugly in Philadelphia. It is 10-5. Steve Henderson, 37, single 1 to 9. He gets it. And once I get to 3 more batters, even if he can't get through the 4th inning, he's gone. He's just trying to save his bullpen at this point. Lee Mazzilli, 2-7, double 1, single dot, and these New York Mets are not taking any prisoners, folks. It's runners on the corners in an 11-5 game for Ray Knight. 6-12 rolls to the pitcher. So, the Phillies, dazed and confused. What's going on in the National League East suddenly? The Mets, the last place Mets, have suddenly surged and have a 6-run lead in a potential sweep of the Phillies. It could really upset this National League. This is the beauty of the Fall League, folks. Fall League Game of the Week, because you get away from a lot of tradition in Major League Baseball. And you get a lot of kooky, weird, wild results. It's a lot less predictable than the Summer League, which does a lot of work to try and create a realism of MLB transactions and ultimate results. Matter of fact, we just saw the Reds and the Mets in the World, Reds and the A's in the World Series, and that happened in '72 and happened in my league. So there you go. Anyway, bottom of the 4th, Lonnie Smith. 6-10 off Hausman, 3rd X. Again, Ray Knight at 2E17 to 3rd base. He's having a real shaky game. He's a good rangy 3rd baseman, but not today. That's a base hit. Smith has wheels, but he's down 6. He'll stay put for Greg Gross. 1-9, base hit center field. Skates, thinking about skating to third base against, Herndon's in center. Not Mazzilli. Never mind. Yeah, Herndon can throw. Mazzilli's got a noodle. So Gross will Smith will stay put at second for Lazinski. 54 off of Hausman, pops to second. We need Hausman to get some outs here so as not to break either. Mike Schmidt, 47, single 1 to 17, but he rolls in 18. That's a big out. That's a big out in this game because Hausman's clearly on the ropes. Single 1 to 17, rolls in 18. Tough break for Schmidt. And with 2 outs, it's Big McBride. 6-10, third X again. A really strange day in the field for Ray Knight, trying to get an out if he can. And he cannot! So Ray Knight has given up 2 ground ball singles through his glove and an error. Reminiscent of the Bert Campaneris performance in the World Series when he blew 3 balls in the late innings. And that loads the bases because remember, Smith did not go to third off the Herndon arm. So we have the bases loaded and 2 outs. Big moment here for the Phils to come back in this game. It's Dan Meyer. Let's take a look at this guy. This is a fun little card. Nobody wanted Dan Meyer. Seattle didn't. They let him go. And this guy was picked in the draft. I mean, there's a lot to love here. The top line is great. BAB, 1 to 14. Corner positions, not particularly well, but decent enough. 278 hitter with 20 home runs. And that's all the Phils really need. They don't need the star at first base until Pete Rose arrives next year. Because they have stars everywhere else. You know, you got the classic Philly lineup here other than first base. So Dan Meyer's going to play this year, maybe next year for the Phillies. Big moment here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch to Dan. 65 off the Hausman card. He flies to center field. And the Mets breathe a sigh and continue with 11-5 lead. Underwood is gone. We'll go Rick Williams in the 5th inning. First guy, long man out of the bullpen. He was a starter 6 for Houston in 79 with a 4.7 record. 3.27 ERA in 121 innings. Rick Williams in the 5th. He'll be battling Brooks. 2-6, double 1 to 14's a double. Joel Youngblood. 2 6s, singled out. It's 12-5 Mets. John Stearns. 2 6 is a 5, 4-3 double play. And with 2 outs, Pete Rose. 1-9, triple 1, base hit for Pete, who is 2 for 4. He's hitting .330 this year for the Mets. Great news for them. And with 2 outs, a man at first, it's Herndon. 4-11, first C. 12-5 Mets. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, bottom of the 5th. 12-5 in the vet. Bob Boone, 46. Double 1 to 4, base hit. Now, how long do you go with Hausman? Well, you stretched out the hits through 5 innings now, so he's not as broken eligible. He's only given up 9 hits through 5 innings plus the walks. I think you need put for 5 innings, if you put 15 men on, well, I'd call you broken. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't count the error. 9, 10, 11. So he can continue. Wilfong, 2 7s a K. Boa, 46, is that double 1 to 4 fly ball. The rest, but this time it's the double. Nothing's going to come easy today for the Mets. 2nd and 3rd for Lonnie Smith. 54, pops to second, and with 2 outs. Big at bat for Greg Gross. But 2-9 rolls to third, and Hausman is qualified for a victory today. He's a starter 6, so he puts a couple guys on in the 6th inning, will hook him, and hope that the Met bullpen can continue their winning ways they had in Game 2. Rick Williams will continue into his 2nd inning against Don Kessinger. 52, pops to short. Steve Henderson, 48, single 1 to 9, a line's out. And he will leave the game, and they'll move some defense in for him. Beal goes to first. First baseman Mazzilli goes to center. Center fielder Herndon goes to left where Henderson was playing. So actually got some defense in with a 7-run lead. And Lee Mazzilli, 311 Skies the center. Jerry Remy could also come in and play second base. But let's continue and leave it alone for now. 12-5, bottom of the 6th inning. Greg Luzinski, 46, double on a 4 is a double. One more batter, I'm hooking Hausman. Had enough. Mike Schmidt, 56 is a K. McBride, 58, lines are short. Can he get through the 6th inning? Dan Meyer, runner at second and 2 outs. 59, bounce to second C. Hausman survives 6 curious innings. 12-5 game. Let's rotate some relievers here. Let's get Roy Thomas come out of the Philly bullpen. Phillies had to rebuild their bullpen. They have McGraw, but the rest of it's all imports. Rick Williams from the Astros have brought in Roy Thomas from the St. Louis Cardinals with a 3-4 record, 2.92 ERA in 79 and 77 innings. Roy Thomas, top of the 7th. Be Ray Knight, 410, center X. This is low. Lonnie Smith, a 4-10, skating around in center field today, and that's a base hit. Gary Maddox begrudgingly watches in horror on the bench. Hubie Brooks, 410, center. Oh boy, center X again, but he makes the play, a fly ball B on the Lonnie Smith defense. There you go. Brooks will leave. Kessinger goes to short, and Jerry Remy will play second base. And now they get the full complement of defense. Joe Youngblood, 48, is a single to right field. Knight holds at second. 2 on, 1 out for John Stearns. 55 is a walk. My goodness, these Mets. The bases are loaded. 1 out for Pete Rose. They're going to bring it up. 12-5 game. The infield's up for Rose, who's 2 for 4. 310 is a right B question mark. Now, you have the -3 arm. No, you don't. You have the 0 arm of McBride. But Ray Knight is an 11 runner. So the way you do this is 11, 12, 13. I need to see a 14 before I run, so he's going to hold up there. Will not run on a 13. We'll run on a 14. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Larry Herndon. 33, grounds are short. No more damage for the Mets, but they frightened the Phillies again. 12-5 on the verge of a sweep. Here in Philadelphia, it is stretch time. We've been enjoying the MFSB, mother, father, sister, brother, the city of brotherly love, backstabbers, Freddy's dead, love is the message, the 3 degrees, the sounds of Philadelphia, deep grooves. All right, bottom of the 7th in Philly. Hausman, let's get him out of there. I know he's thrown a lot of pitches anyway. Let's get into the Met pen. For better or for worse. I could have Reardon go 2 innings if needed. We're going to go Pete Falcon, as he's been more reliable than Tom House. Pete Falcon. Oh, Pete Falcone here in the 7th inning. They acquired him. They're going to bump him up to his 81. 81, he's pretty good. This is a 79, though. He's 6-14 with a 4.16 ERA. Should be in the rotation, but he's the number 5 starter. But they had a day off in there, so they can use him in the bullpen for a little bit longer. He comes in the 7th inning against Boone, Wilfong, and Boa. Here's the pitch to Bob Boone. 1-9, grounds are short. Wilfong, batting for Wilfong, he's only hits righties, will be the other second baseman, Mike Tyson. Tyson, 210, grounds the pitcher, and Boa. 63, pitcher X, he's an E8 pitcher. 2 E8, cannot get it. And the Phils go quietly in the 7th. 12-5 into the 8th. Louis Kessinger. 46, double 1-10 is a base hit for Kessinger. Bob Beal, defensive switch hitting first baseman. 211, third B, fielder's choice. Mazzilli, 47, single on a 1. He lines out. And with 2 outs, it's Ray Knight with a strange day. 4 hits in the plate, put 3 men on in the field. Ray Knight, 63. Pitcher's X, E0. Don't roll my E0 home field advantage. E0 pitchers pitching at homes. Don't roll the dice, it's automatically the GBA. So there you go. 12-5. Bottom of the 8th. with a 7-run lead. We'll have a pretty long leash for Pete Falcone today. It'll be the Lonnie Smith, 5'11", second X. This is the new second baseman. Remy's at 2E21. Makes the play. Batting for Greg Gross will be Gary Maddox. The writing's on the wall, folks. These Mets are shaking up the National League today. Gary Maddox, 1-9 is a ground to third, and with 2 outs, it's Lazinski. 54 off of Falcone, center X, but you got a 2E5 in center field, Mazzilli, but he does not get to that one. That's a base hit. So it's Michael Jack Schmidt. Got to show you the card for Mike Schmidt, his 1981 card. Oh my goodness, folks. It hasn't done much in this particular series. We'll call it a mulligan, as the disinterested Phillies are about to lose 3 straight. But anyway, the pitch to Mike Schmidt. 2-6, double left field. Lazinski will hold to third. And it's Bake McBride. Final batter as a lefty. Well, actually, Meyer's also left-handed. Let him pitch to these 2 guys. Bake McBride with second and third and 2 outs. 33, pops to first. Phillies have just left too many men on base today to keep up with these dangerous Mets. 12-5. We'll go to the 9th, and we'll continue into the Philly bullpen. Let's go to Don Ossie in the 9th here. Yeah, they got a nice bullpen. 4-4, 2.35 ERA and 65 innings for the Angels in 81. Don Ossie. Nice little career he had. So it'll be Jerry Remy leading off for the Mets, the defensive. Actually, he's a 300 hitter. 49 is a walk. A stealer, not going to steal up 7 though. Joe Youngblood. 2-7 is a K. John Stearns, 4-4. Homer 1-8 fly ball, missed it. And Pete Rose by any other name. 4-6, double 1-6, and Pete gets the double, one of his 51 doubles in his 3rd hit of the day. My goodness. Any more defense to bring him in for him? No. Larry Herndon. 2-7's a K. We got a 12-5 game in the bottom of the 9th, and I think you just have to do the safety thing. The safe thing here is bring in your closer to get this series over with, and that's Jeff Reardon. Let's take a look at Reardon. Jeff Reardon, a young New York Met in 1980, 8-7 with a 2.62 ERA and 110 innings, but they let him get away to the Expos and then later on to the Twins. They did not hold on to Jeff Reardon, particularly on a team that they wouldn't get the good pitchers arriving until 84, the Darling era, and you know that era. But and Gooden and Sid and all that. But you know, the Mets are still kind of lost, trying to figure out their pitch, sort out their pitching. Bottom of the 9th, 12-5 game. Dan Meyer leads off. 57 is a K. Bob Boone, 5'11", second X. And they're filing out of the vet. 2E21, Remy gives up another single. Mike Tyson, 69, second C. Werner gets a second with 2 outs. It's Larry Boa. 1-5, and Larry Boa continues the game. Homer 1-2 double. It is a double that will score a run. It is 12-6. And Lonnie Smith, 46 off of Reardon, double 1-6. That's a single and an RBI, and it's 12-7. The Phillies do not go quietly. Smith runs to second base. His run doesn't matter in a 12-7 game, and it's Gary Maddox, Jeff Reardon. 1-6 is a grounder to short. That'll do it. 12-7. My goodness, folks. Not much problem at all with the Mets and the Phillies. Pretty easy sweep, relatively, for a last place team against one of the best, arguably the best team in the National League. Embarrassed. Hit a walk and 2 Ks for Mr. Ossie. 2 innings of Roy Thomas. 3 hits and a walk. No runs. Rick Williams, 3 hits and a run. And oh my goodness, Underwood takes the loss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits. My goodness. And he gave up, oh boy, 11 runs. Oh, that's ugly. However, you do have a couple unearned ones in there. 9 were earned. And he walked 5, struck out 3. So normally you can pull a guy like this when he's struggling, but you only have 8-man pitching staffs, and you just have to sit and take it, folks. Reardon, not very good at all in the ninth, but he ended the game. 3 hits and 2 runs and a K. Pete Falcone stepped up in the setup innings with just 2 hits. Hausman danced through the fire in that one. 6 innings, not a good line, but he'll take it when his offense scores 12 runs. Hausman's 6-inning line, yeah, that's 11 hits and the 5 runs. They're all earned. The Phillies just pittered out after that. 2 walks and a couple strikeouts. 1009, 0109, 1219, 716, 7523. Yeah. The Mets complete the mission. Become relevant. And a dangerous team. Dangerous offense, but it's mostly against left-handed pitching. And the Phillies had 2 of them, Carlton and Underwood. That was a mistake for the Phils, but what are you going to do? You have one team in your division you don't match up well against, but they match up well against the Braves and the Marlins. So let's take a look at the year-to-date numbers now. The Phillies are now faded to 11-10, but again, they're the best team in this division. And again, you play your division rivals, so they're expected to have a big advantage against the other teams, the Braves and the Marlins. So your Phillies are hitting .290 with a 3.71 ERA. Lefty, by the way, is 2-2 in 46 innings. Does not have a complete game, which is surprising. Offensively, though, Mr. Schmidt does have 12 homer and 31 RBI in 21 games. And most of that happened prior to this series. So he kind of cooled off suddenly. He was absolutely roping the National League prior to this, and he's still the odds-on favorite to be the MVP. For your Mets, they are creeping up towards average, folks. They are 9-11 now. They were left for dead, but suddenly their season has just turned today with 3 straight wins. These New York Mets are hitting .309. These New York Mets have a 5.61 team ERA. Not your typical New York Mets, but boy, they can bash. Looking at some of the top hitters on the team, 27 hits for Rose. John Stearns having a nice year too. Ray Knight's having a nice year, 27 for 78. Ray Knight's hitting .346, and Rose and John Stearns hitting about .330. Not a lot of power. Joe Youngblood, though, is being the RBI guy. He's got 4 homers, but 24 RBI, batting in the middle of this lineup with everybody getting on base. 24 RBI for that Youngblood 350 card in 20 games. Nice bit of offense, and offense is the key in this league. They are just raking. In 307 games to this point, the league is hitting .277 with a 4.33 ERA and a 1.51 WHIP. They are swinging for everything, folks. Yeah, much different era here than in the early 70s, which is more about pitching. So, that's it today from the Vet and Philly. Congratulations, New York Mets, a 3-0 sweep against the once proud world champion Phillies. We'll see if it can continue. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.